Over 1,000 stories of families torn apart. Over 1,000 reasons why this conflict must end. The Israel-Hamas war, a raging inferno of political animosity and violence, has left countless families shattered. Homes lie in ruins, their former occupants scattered by fear and loss. The statistics are staggering, but behind each number lies a human story, a family ripped apart by forces beyond their control. These are the faces of the conflict, the human cost of a war that seems to know no end. Each story is a poignant reminder of the urgency for peace, a desperate plea for a return to normalcy. The conflict, with its roots in decades-old disputes, has once again flared up, engulfing innocent lives in its wake. The reverberations of this conflict are felt far beyond the immediate war zone. From anxious families waiting for news to global leaders grappling with the crisis, the impact is undeniable. The world watches with bated breath, hoping for a swift resolution, praying for the safety of those trapped in the crossfire. From the heart of the conflict zone come desperate pleas for peace. Families, their lives upended by violence, are adding their voices to the growing chorus demanding a ceasefire. Their stories, raw and deeply personal, transcend political rhetoric, laying bare the devastating human cost of this conflict. Sarah, a young mother from southern Israel, hasn't seen her two children since they were taken hostage. Her voice trembles as she describes the agonizing wait for news, clinging to hope while fearing the worst. Her story is echoed by countless others, their pain palpable, their resilience tested. Across the border in Gaza, families face a different kind of devastation. Airstrikes have reduced homes to rubble, burying families under the debris. Hospitals, overwhelmed and under-resourced, struggle to cope with the influx of casualties. The pleas of these families, desperate for safety and security, add a moral urgency to the calls for a ceasefire. These are the voices of the people, the ones who bear the brunt of the conflict. Their stories, filled with loss, fear, and a longing for peace, serve as a powerful indictment of the ongoing violence. Their pleas are a call to action, a reminder that behind the political maneuvering lie real lives at stake. Amidst the escalating violence, a glimmer of hope emerges, a concerted push for a ceasefire. International pressure is mounting on both Israel and Hamas to lay down their arms and engage in dialogue. President Biden, leading the charge, has been engaged in intense diplomatic efforts, urging both sides to prioritize the safety and well-being of civilians. Israel, citing its right to defend its citizens from rocket attacks, insists on guarantees from Hamas that the violence will not resume after a ceasefire. Hamas, on the other hand, demands an end to the blockade of Gaza and recognition of its legitimacy as a political entity. The situation is further complicated by the involvement of regional actors, each with its own interests and agendas. Egypt, traditionally a mediator in the Israel-Palestine conflict, is playing a key role in facilitating communication between the warring parties. The international community, through the United Nations, is also actively engaged in seeking a peaceful resolution. The proposed ceasefire, though fragile, represents a beacon of hope in an otherwise bleak landscape. It is a testament to the tireless efforts of diplomats and world leaders working behind the scenes to find a way out of this crisis. The success of these efforts hinges on the willingness of both sides to prioritize peace over continued conflict. The potential impact of a ceasefire extends far beyond the immediate silencing of guns. For the families caught in the crossfire, it represents a chance to rebuild their lives, to grieve their losses, and to hope for a future free from violence. The cessation of hostilities would allow humanitarian aid to reach those in desperate need, providing much-needed medical assistance and essential supplies. Politically, a ceasefire could pave the way for renewed dialogue between Israel and Hamas. While a lasting solution to the complex issues at the heart of the conflict remains a distant goal, a period of calm could create space for meaningful negotiations. The international community would need to seize this opportunity to facilitate dialogue and work towards a sustainable peace agreement. The success of a ceasefire in fostering a lasting peace hinges on addressing the root causes of the conflict. The underlying issues of land, security, and recognition cannot be ignored. A sustainable solution requires a commitment from both sides to engage in good faith negotiations, to compromise, and to work towards a future where both Israelis and Palestinians can live in peace and security. The ripple effects of a successful ceasefire would extend far beyond the region. It would signal a victory for diplomacy and multilateralism, demonstrating the power of dialogue over violence. It would serve as a reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, peace is possible when all parties are committed to finding a solution. As the world waits with bated breath, the pleas of families like Sarah's continue to resonate. Their message is simple, their demand heartbreakingly human. We just want our children back. Their words are a stark reminder that behind the political maneuvering and strategic calculations lie real lives, real families torn apart by a conflict that seems to have no end. Their words are a call to action, a plea for empathy and understanding, a demand for peace. The world must listen. The time for action is now. The future of countless families, the hope for a peaceful resolution, rests on the shoulders of those in power. Let us hope they have the wisdom and the courage to choose peace.